Mr. Mullin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First, I'd like to associate our ranking member's remarks with Michael Ellis. I think it's very important that we get those answers. With that being said, you know, most, if not all, you are very familiar with my intimate involvement with evacuating Americans out of Afghanistan. The ongoing evacuation process that is trying to take place. And I want to speak a little bit to Director Burns and Director Berrier about what led up to the complete failure and chaos that took place prior to our complete pullout of Afghanistan in August 30th. It is reported that 130,000 people, the State Department reported that 130,000 people were evacuated prior to the final departure 30 August. How many of those were AMSETs, Americans?
Congressman, I don't know the answer to that.
Dr. Burns, how many of those were Americans?
I'll get you the exact number.
How do we not know this? And this just goes to a lot bigger question. How we evacuated 130,000 people. That was touted as a success. At the same time, while my team and myself was trying to get Americans out, we had them at the gates trying to get the gate opened, and we couldn't get Americans through the gate at HKIA. And we touted as success. And in fact, the word came out that every American that wanted out could get out. And then the word came back that the president said that, well, there's roughly 100 people still left that wanted to get out. This is on August 31st. And you're telling me today that we still don't know how those 130,000 people that the State Department touted as a success of evacuation, that we don't know how many were actually Americans? That seems, really odd to me.
No, Congressman, I think the number of U.S. citizens, as I understand it, and we'll confirm the exact number for you, was well over 6,000. But we'll get the exact number for you.
And see, this is the problem with the chaos and the amount of problems here. Since 31 August, the number has changed from the amount of Americans that we said were left there. You know, currently my team is in possession of 124 AMSETs and LPRs. Currently, as we speak right now, we are in possession of 120 to 124 AMSETs and LPRs. We started the week with 120, now we have 124. And this is what I was told this week about the evacuation by the State Department. When you get them out, we'll help you get them to America. When you get them out of Afghanistan, we'll help you get them to America. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we don't actually know, because the numbers always changing. And let me just run through some numbers for you. On August 31st, the president said there was 100 to 200 Americans still in Afghanistan who had some intentions to leave. I can tell you every single one that my team has worked with has literally been willing to do everything they could to get out. Everything they could to get out, including an LPR with her 3-year-old daughter who died of an infection after us trying to get her out for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And we had her at HKIA, and we couldn't get the State Department to open the door. We had her at the border of Tajikistan, and the Tajikistan ambassador literally told me, "I'm sorry, Mr. Mullin, but I was told not to assist you in any way." That was a quote. Quote. And 7 days later, the 3-year-old girl died. And yet, we still don't have a handle on how many Americans were in there. For instance, late last week, the State Department estimated there was at least 176. Now, these aren't round numbers. These are exact numbers. At least 176 who still want to leave among the 363 total American citizens in Afghanistan. Now, those aren't round numbers. Those are exact numbers. Then yesterday, the Pentagon said the number of Americans in Afghanistan is still at 439. Why is there a big difference between what the State Department is saying and what the Department of Defense is saying? Dr. Berrier, do you know?
Congressman, I don't have an answer for you.
Dr. Burns?
And I mean, the only thing I'll say, Congressman, first, I very much appreciate all the efforts that you've made. And as you know, our officers have worked very hard as well, working with colleagues from state and elsewhere to ensure that U.S. citizens who are seeking to be evacuated are evacuated. And that's continuing right now. I know from my own experience as a...
Director Burns, I'm going to stop you there just a second.
Yep.
Then why is it that I can't get help getting these other 124 out? I have 124 identified with paperwork. We've been holding on to them for 3 weeks. Why is it that we can't put pressure on Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, or Pakistan and say, hey, let them cross? Why is it that I was told that if I fly them out, which we'll have to raise money to do, well, if you fly them out, we'll help them fly the rest of the way to America? If they were serious about it, why can't we take in a charter and get them out? I can get them to Measure Sharif. I can get them to where you want to go. I can get them to the border and get them across. I can do that work. So when you say that you're willing, that you're working as hard as you can, then why can't we move them?
Well, Congressman, we're absolutely determined. The President has made clear, all of us, not just on this panel, but at state and elsewhere, to ensure that Americans get out. And I'm glad to follow up with you. I know my colleagues are, to help ensure that that happens, because we're determined to do that.
Please do, because I have 124 ready to come home. I yield back.